Good evening, y'all, live from South Uptown. This is the Johnny Cain Hot Minute. Probably be a little bit longer than a minute, but let's get right to it. Those of us that follow sports have observed the fact that we've had a significant rise in terms of significant figures now contracting or testing positive for the coronavirus COVID-19, which has brought a lot of things in terms of the way this is being handled into direct view. Now, a second wave, if it was anything like the first wave, would be bad. Now, I want you to put this in context. On one hand, it's if you compare it to the plague of the Middle Ages, where millions were wiped out, and then juxtapose it against now, where we're at hundreds of thousands wiped out, and yes, anyone or any single loss of life is too much. But what we're really talking about is just the assassination of our economy. When you look at the businesses that were impacted by it and how it brought things to a screeching halt in the middle of a thriving economy, then you see how COVID-19, coronavirus, or China virus, as Trump calls it, has devastated a lot of people, a significant segment of the population economically. The restaurant business, the travel business, and the restaurant business has adapted, but the travel business has been slammed the hardest by it, as evidenced by the proposed bailout of American Airlines. Now, this has become politicized because you have, on the Republican side, the philosophy of, hey, look, we're normally not big into this aid thing and helping people out, but wow, here's a time for us to say that we understand we're all human. If there was ever a time for this type of aid, it's now. Then you have on the other side the Democrats who are like, oh, okay, hey, wait a minute, hang on a second. We're in favor of the aid thing, but look, we have these other aid programs. So we've got to be judicious about that. And we can't just put it all into one program just because you've now decided that, hey, we're into the aid thing as far as this goes. And that's the thing with this disease being politicized, okay, this pandemic outbreak being politicized, virus, if you will. You look at the roots of the politicization of it, the turning it into politics, if you will, the politicization of it, and any and all of this all reverts back to money. Now, when you look at the Democratic platform, which is, look, I've got it good, you've got it good. We have some people in this country who are brothers and sisters who do not have it good, as good. Let's even this out a little bit, and let's get them to be able to at least get a little bit of a taste of the good life as well, And that sounds great. But of course, there's a fee involved. And the Democrats are like, well, yeah, we're going to get a little fee for administering this whole thing. We're going to administrate the whole thing. We're going to handle the admin duties, if you will, of the dispersal of said capital. So we're going to get a little fee for that. But it's going to be so offset by the goodwill that we do. Then you have the Republicans who are like, look, these Democrats are trying to get at your money for these social programs that have nothing to do with you. It's a raw deal. Look, we're going to keep them off of you, all right? Of course, there's going to be a little fee in it involved, but we're going to keep them off of you so much that in the end, financially, you're going to come out ahead. It's essentially a mafia platform. When those that control a specific block go to businesses on that block and say, hey, look, you're going to need protection. There's people out there that are trying to get your money. We're going to stop them for a fee. So, if a second wave hits and re-devastates the economy, I can't say exactly what will happen, but I would imagine that it would certainly hit those who were previously unaffected. Now, as human beings, we've adapted. We're doing more work at home stuff. You know, that doesn't cover everything, but boy, I tell you what, it has seemingly expedited the, use of technology and the no contact thing, which again, if you look at some films or depictions of dystopian societies, everything evolves and rotates and moves towards people being replaced and human interaction being replaced and everything being done by computers. A little bit of a stretch and an early extrapolation, if you will. But this is kind of how it starts, a person could say. So, the one thing that we need to understand, which will certainly underscore the fact that this, like 2016, in my personal opinion, is a bad year for candidates on both sides. They're both incredibly questionable, as they were in 2016. What this will bring into focus is how we progress going forward. Okay? And I'm not talking about the elections. There's enough checks and balances in place that the American economy is going to stay on a relatively stable path regardless of who's in office. Again, with the checks and balances and so forth. What this is going to do is put those in power in our republic. We elect individuals to represent us. It's not a democracy. We don't make the laws. We don't vote on them except in the local propositions, which are less laws and more designed to change the statutes of various laws. And I don't want to get into all that. What it comes down to is that either way, whatever side you look at it on, even though our economy stays relatively stable regardless of who's in office, it's that fact that absolutely supports the fact that there is no free money. Well, how is that? Our economy's really good. How can there be no free money? Well, there is no free money. When the government, whomever, Democratic, Republican, whomever, doles out money, it's never free. The Internal Revenue Service generates all of its revenue from one source, the taxpayer. This comes out of the income that you earn. Local municipalities and states, those that have income taxes, all local municipalities have sales taxes, which is why the increase in these taxes is a lot slower, because people are buying stuff all the time. And that thing is like an open spigot. Okay, and the number of transactions daily. All right. On a federal level, there's so much more regulation that goes into it, and your tax base is finite as it relates to gross national product. Okay? And with all of the loopholes and so forth that you have, look, I don't want to get into tax code here, but what we do as Americans, what our government does in our name, representing us, Republic, is they don't pay it forward, they charge it forward. Expenditures are based on future income. So, as we move forward with the money that's being doled out, if you're a small business owner and you fall into the magic number, which is 250,000, but yet that's what you report, but yet you employ people and have write-offs and so forth, those are considered the wealthy that are targeted as far as places to make gains that won't upset the bulk of the populace, which is certainly under this income level, massively, because we don't want upheaval, riot, what have you, on our hands. So we're going to hit these quote-unquote rich guys, and we'll have the backing of, the general rank and file everyday citizen. Problem there is that a lot of these people are business owners, and so what they do is they pass on the increased taxes in the form of lower wages and or raised prices. So there is no free money. This is all credit card money that's going out. No one's giving you anything. You'll pay or your descendants will pay. Period. But that's America. You got your MasterCard, you got your Visa. Movie from a line from a movie that happened so long ago, probably before you people were even born, called The Wildlife with Chris Penn and Eric Stoltz. Anyway, that's today's Hot Minute. It lasted almost 12, but what a subject to get into. Corona, the second wave, and the implications up to now, and the implications going forward. Again, this has been Johnny Cain, Hot Minute. I'm Johnny Cain, live from South Uptown. We'll see you next time.